What trend makes you the most uncomfortable?
Subscriptions. It feels like at some point we're not going to be allowed to own anything outright anymore.
Yep. The weirdest are car makers' intention to sell you something in car as subscription.
I'm getting a Datsun 100A, putting a Raspberry Pi with Linux on it for multimedia in the front, hooked up to a monitor, and blasting Mustamies on the highway, without ads and for free. 1975 for the win.
The ever-declining side of public education/student academic performance. There's a boo-boo storm coming. Current high school graduation rate is 87%. Over 50 million folks walking around with smooth brains, more than the population of 20 states.
I used to work as an adjunct professor as a side job, teaching 1 or 2 classes per semester. I had to stop for my own sanity. The number of students who lacked basic skills that they should be coming out of high school with is just concerning, to put it mildly. I'm not exaggerating when I say a large proportion of my students were functionally illiterate. Sure, they could read the literal meaning on the page, but they lacked all basic interpretive skills, all critical thinking skills, and I know it's a basically meme at this point, but all media literacy skills, and don't even get me started on their writing ability. And please don't take this as me blaming high school teachers. They are doing the best they can with what they've got. Turns out defunding education and moving to a one-size-fits-all, standardized testing metric wasn't a great idea. Whata thunk it.
What's wild to me is the sheer number of Zoomers who think that they are somehow immune to propaganda. Like, that message is in itself propaganda.
Back in 1993, I couldn't get entry into the pharmacy major in college because even though I was an excellent high school student with above-average grades, the program had limited openings and well more than half were going to international students. The rest were U.S. students, but the beyond exceptional valedictorian types. We may have lost our way in public education, but the rest of the world hasn't. I only wished I had as vigorous an early education to sail so easily into competitive higher ed programs. I can only imagine how much worse it is now.
The loss of public spaces and places to socially interact with other people.
My small, 15K population town got a new library last year. The old one had been in a 19th century mansion that was woefully suited to modern library service, and a contingent of townsfolk angrily fought to keep it there. They lost. Our new facility is suddenly the pride of the town, clean, modern, comfortable, desks and tables with power and Ethernet, kiosks of laptops that can be taken anywhere within the library, and brick with a piercing shrill if removed from the building, meeting rooms, community spaces, a lovely and bright magazine and newspaper reading space with coffee and snack machines, programs, cozy window lookouts to sit and read. The best part, for me, an avid supporter, 'cause libraries are awesome, has been conversions. Local foes who rallied against, and have come into the newly finished facility to find fault, only to be embraced by the staff and given a tour. And they leave with library cards, and a few have written letters to the local paper or even gone back to their sour little local Facebook group, saying more or less, I was so wrong. It's good. This just makes my heart float. It's vindicating, all those hours knocking on doors for support, polite debates, my half anyway, making posters. The local consensus is that we got a sparkling gift. I hope this trend, of people desiring and fighting for local public spaces continues.
Tip requests on every single transaction. Like, come on. I pumped my own gas.
I hate when the tip request is before any actual service has been performed. If I order at a kiosk, then you've done nothing. If you take forever to fulfill my order, or provide poor service, how can I edit my tip? It's stupid.
I ate somewhere the other day and it had $1 technology fee. What the heck is even that?
Well, to circle back. The rising tide of anti-intellectualism. People will say they haven't read a book since Diary of a Wimpy Kid in year 4 and be proud of it. It goes without saying that this bleeds into other areas of public life, and such a gullible population is any government's wet dream. However, where I am, in Britain, the government has still managed to hopelessly bugger things up, which is a very impressive feat, considering the circumstances. Simultaneously, the increasing atomization and isolation of society can only be a bad thing. If we can't talk and correct each other if needs be, what do you think's going to happen? This is only exacerbated by the trend of lonely young men, who feel like they've got nowhere to go, being preyed on by people who want to send society back to 1855. And not the socially progressive bits of 1855 either.
My ex-coworker bragged about failing algebra twice. He was a nightmare to work with for the 2 weeks that he was there.
Weirdly enough, I hated reading when I was younger. When I dropped out, I got really into it, though, and I swear it's the only reason I tested so high on my GED and ACT. School told me I was at a second grade level when I was 15. By 17, a year after dropping out, I tested at a college level. I sometimes wonder if the aversion to reading is caused by the way it's handled in schools. At least I know it was in my case. My school system breaks kids off into groups and forces them to read out loud while being timed. They tell you to go as fast as you can, which made kids nervous so they'd trip over their words, which got them docked points for being inaccurate. There was little focus on reading comprehension until the state exams at the end of the year. I firmly believe it's a big part of why so many of my classmates hated reading. By the time they switched it up in 5th grade to book reports, most kids had already been put off it by the previous teaching methods. It had become a thing to dread. Sorry for the sudden rant there, LOL. Your comment just triggered all these memories for some reason, and it really got me thinking about why I used to hate it so much. Given that I now own enough books to fill a small library, haha.
I've noticed a growing trend of oversharing personal life on professional platforms. I mean, LinkedIn isn't your personal diary or a venue for vague posting about your journey or struggle. There's a time and place to share your life story, and between endorsements and job listings, isn't it? Keep it professional, folks.
Oh God, man. LinkedIn has become basically a playground for narcissists.
I watched a couple old coworkers transform their LinkedIn profiles into these bizarre pseudo-influencer pages, and it was a really strange thing. One was already a known con artist who was trying to peddle some sort of consulting scam, but the whole thing just got weird. I disabled my account a couple years ago.
For me, it's corporate jargon. Leveraging synergistic paradigms will enable us to dynamically streamline our blockchain-infused, customer-centric solutions, ultimately catalyzing an unprecedented paradigm shift in the ecosystem, fostering a holistic approach to scalable innovation and agile, cross-functional stakeholder engagement in the global marketplace. Like, boy, that don't mean a got man thing.
Ha ha ha. Oh no. I'm so far gone that made sense to me.
Young adults using TikTok psychobabble to explain away any sort of accountability.
I work with a guy who gets all his new and info from TikTok and is constantly spewing nonsense that is easily verified by Google. He says he doesn't like to fact check.
My sister diagnosed herself with ADHD via TikTok. The funny thing is that she would be able to focus way better if she just put her effing phone down. It's wild.
Oh God, a narcissist. Talk about an overused label, outplayed to death. The self-diagnosing that people do is bad enough, but to diagnose everyone else as a narcissist is even worse. Seems like everyone had a narcissist parent or relationship. Every girl who may or may not have just had an asshole BF, possibly abusive or toxic, but still labeled a narcissist just the same. Same with any guy with a GF who is egotistical and vain, or manipulative. People can be abusive or manipulative, but not a full-blown narc. Doesn't need to be an excuse for a bad breakup, or to blame the others while ignoring personal faults. I find it rude and dismissive, and insulting to actual narcissists like myself.
People thinking that banning books is beneficial.
The lack of faith in experts, doctors, climatologists, etc.
Pride and ignorance.
Saw my PCP for the first time last October. Was 69. She spent the whole time with her head in the laptop, asked me a couple of questions, then sent me for a myriad of tests. Fuck that. She charged Essence close to $400 for that 20 minutes. Yeah, no faith in doctors for me. Prank videos. Dude walks into the hood, asks somebody, hey man, wanna bust a nut? Kapow. Whack. Hiya. Wawa. It was just a prank, bro. Why you smacked me like that?